Pixie, and today we're going to be learning about how Brownie started and some of the changes that have been made to it since that moment. Along the way we will look at different uniforms Brownies wore and what activities they got up to. We will also look at some of the big moments in the history of Brownies, from programme changes to Brownie celebrations, to look at how it got to where it is today. So where did Brownies begin? The Girl Guiding movement started with a Boy Scout rally at Crystal Palace in 1909. A group of girls attended this rally claiming to be Girl Scouts. During the rally they asked the Lord Baden-Powell, the founder of the Scouting movement, for something for girls to do. A year later, in 1910, the Girl Guides Association was formed and led by Agnes Baden-Powell, Robert's sister. As guiding grew in popularity, the younger sisters of guides wanted something for them too. They could not keep up physically with the activities that guides used to do, which often included long hikes and meetings which took up the whole day. In 1914, the Rosebuds was formed for girls under 11. The girls, however, were not so keen on the name, and so it was changed a year later to Brownies. A new uniform was introduced with a new promise badge design. The Rosebuds had a blue uniform, but this was changed to a brown dress, and the Rosebud promise badge was changed to an acorn design. A programme was designed that was similar to the guide programme at the time. It included a first class and second class award. There were many activities that had to be completed for these awards. The second class Brownie Award included Brownies needing to know how the Union Jack was made up, be able to tie 4 different knots, learn how to lay a table for dinner, some basic first aid, throw a ball 9 metres with both hands, and much more. The first class Brownie Award included knowing the alphabet in Morse code or semaphore, knowing the compass, making doll's clothes, knitting, making a cup of tea and milk pudding, folding clothes, be able to pass a message of 12 words in her head for 5 minutes and deliver it correctly. This is very different from the programme we have now. How many of these activities do you think you would be able to complete? A popular story at the time was shortened and adapted by Robert Baden-Powell and titled The Brownie Story. It told the tale of 2 children, Betty and Tommy, who went looking for a brownie and came across a wise owl who taught them about what a brownie is and what they do. A version of this story is still used by many Brownie units today to teach new recruits what Brownies are all about. Setting up a new section in guiding sounds like a lot of work, but we are not finished yet. There were still a lot of decisions the founders had to make, such as how to organise the units and what traditions they should have. Some of these were adapted from what was already available to guides but made suitable to the younger audience. You might even recognise what I'm going to show you next. It was decided in 1918 that sixes were to be introduced to organise the girls in the units. The names of the sixes were named after fairy folk, and a badge for each 6 was created. Some of these names included elf, fairy, gnome, imp, kelpie, pixie and sprite. Each 6 had its own short song. Each girl was assigned to a 6 and they were led by a sixer who was helped by her second. The sixer led the 6 with a thin wand which was topped with the 6 emblem on top. This was mainly done at the opening ceremony to each meeting. The opening ceremony, or Brownie Ring, was where the Brownie song was sung, and Brownies would skip through arches made by their leaders in a circle. This is still practiced by some units today, but the words of the song have changed since then. Let's skip forward a few years now to the 1930s. The first major change was that a new uniform was introduced for all Brownies to wear. They now had a brown tie and chest pockets which had to contain lots of useful things. Brownies were often checked to make sure they had these in their meetings. The objects included some string, paper and pencil, money for the phone box, plasters, safety pins, clean hanky in a sealed envelope, small food bag and their test card which kept a record of their achievements for their awards. Brownies had to carry these up until 1990 so that they were always ready to lend a hand and help out in emergency. One big difference between Brownies then and Brownies now is that Brownies could not earn any interest badges before they completed an entrance test. After this they could start to earn badges and work on their second class award before beginning their first class. Brownies who completed this earned a special badge called Brownie Wings. Because of the entrance test, even the keenest brownies only earned a handful of badges before moving up to guides. We've talked a lot about the developments at the start of Brownies and some of the activities they got up to in their meetings. Now let's turn to look at what Brownies got up to in the Second World War between 1939 and 1945. During World War II, many children from cities, like London, were evacuated to the countryside. This was where they had to leave their parents and live with a different family in smaller towns and villages far away from the cities. During this time, many Brownies became members of new units. Units in the countryside received a lot of girls overnight, with most going from about 12 girls in their units to 40 or 60 girls. Brownies played an important role in the war effort. They helped to collect hedgerow fruit and herbs, knitted and made clothes, and helped to fundraise money for war funds. In 1940, a Guide Gift Week was run. Members of Girl Guiding collectively raised over £50,000 to help the war effort. They achieved this by members giving up half a day's salary, donating pocket money, or by fundraising. The next major change was in 1968, when the second class and first class programme was changed to include footpath, road and highway badges. There was a number of challenges for each Brownie to complete. With this new programme, Brownies could now earn interest badges once they were enrolled, meaning that more girls were earning more badges. A new Brownie song was introduced and the songs for each six were dropped, as well as some of the pack ceremonies that were practised. In 1984, Brownies celebrated 70 years of Brownies with a national team making competition. Brownies were sponsored to make as many cups of tea as possible and were also challenged to make a cup of tea in the most unusual place possible. Locations for this included tea being made under giant trees, in castles, or even at the top of fire engine ladders. Shortly after this, in 1990, the uniform was changed again to include joggers, culottes, polo shirts and sweatshirts instead of dresses. The biggest change, however, was the introduction of a sash where Brownies could sew their badges onto instead of onto their uniform. The last change we are going to talk about happened in 2003. The footpath, road and highway badges were dropped and instead was replaced with Brownie Adventure and Brownie Adventure On. A Brownie Go For It badge was introduced for Brownies to complete the weeks before they moved up to guides, and a whole new set of interest badges were made available. With this new programme, a whole new set of 6 names were introduced to accompany the fairy folk. These were named after woodland animals and included foxes, rabbits, badgers, squirrels, hedgehogs and moles. This was the programme that was around when I was a Brownie. I was a member of the Foxes and later the Rabbit 6. In 2014, Brownies celebrated their 100th birthday across the UK with lots of fun activities and days out. A new fun badge was made to mark the occasion. There was a separate one for those who were a member of Brownies during this time, and one for members of Rainbows, Guides, Senior Section, Trefoil Guild and Leaders. The latest change came to everyone across Girl Guiding in 2018, with a new programme for every girl based around 6 different themes: Know Myself, Express Myself, Take Action, Have Adventures, Be Well and Skills for My Future. New awards were introduced, including the Brownie Bronze, Silver and Gold awards. I hope you've all learnt something today about the history of Brownies that you did not know before. If you are completing Brownie Pocket Challenges UMA, you'll be having a go at using some of the objects that Brownies have to carry with them to find solutions to a variety of scenarios given to you by your leader. Or if you're doing the Centenary Time Travel UMA, you'll be having a go at some of the activities that Brownies used to do throughout its history. Have fun and bye for now!